Hey guys, it is Philip from PR Moves, back again for another video. This video is going to be my initial reactions to preseason week number 2 and our 41-15 loss to the Buffalo Bills, Mitch Trubisky's Buffalo Bills. That's going to be its own video, Mitch Trubisky, but we are going to just quickly break down position by position what we saw from each position and how we can expect that to improve going into preseason week 3 and what we should expect in preseason week 3. We're going to start with the offensive line. Now, our starting offensive line wasn't good. It was way better than the backup offensive line. It was Latavius Simmons, Alex Bars, Sam Mustipher, Cody Whitehair, and Elijah Wilkinson. And it was pretty bad. It wasn't very heartening. Dalton was sacked twice. Fields got absolutely lit up. I think Fields was also sacked twice. The huge roughing the passer was terrible. It was pretty bad. So, in general, I would just like to see some offensive line consistency. I'm okay if your quarterback gets sacked once or twice a game. Like, whatever. I know that the best offensive lines typically help win Super Bowls, but I think it's pretty easy to remember that only like 2 or 3 teams in the league have that type of offensive line. And if you have an offensive line that only allows like 25 sacks a season, you're a pretty good offensive line. So I would just like to see some sort of consistency from them moving forward. Quarterback, not going to touch on as much just because I did a whole thing about Justin Fields, who still played pretty well. He finished 9 for 19, 80 yards. He also ran 4 times for 46 yards. Overall, I think he was pretty average. The Buffalo defense was obviously better than the Miami defense he played against. So, but props to Fields though. Hopefully the massive hits he took didn't give him any like nagging injuries that he has to deal with. Dalton, I actually think was just as average as Fields was. If you took away the 75-yard touchdown, he was only like 10 for 14 for like 72 yards and an interception. So not great from Andy Dalton. Foles didn't even play. I still think if you gave Justin Fields reps with the starting offense, that's Montgomery, Mooney, Kmet, Robinson, then Fields would be the clear starter, but Nagy's never going to do that. So I think Fields easily looked better than Dalton just because of his ability to move. He converted like 2 fourth downs or something. Like, Dalton just doesn't do that. Moving on to the running backs, we saw no David Montgomery this week. We saw him limp off the field in week 1 of the preseason, but he practiced all week. He just did not play in this game. Damian Williams, Khalil Herbert. Damian Williams was terrible. Khalil Herbert did look much better. And he looked better in special teams. He nearly blocked a punt. He had 1 good kick return. He had 2 good kick returns. He did muff a kick, but he also ran in a touchdown. So if I had to do the depth chart right now, I would personally put Khalil Herbert over Damian Williams. But then you get Artavis Pierce, CJ Marable. Ryan Nall didn't even play, thank God. Artavis Pierce, CJ Marable both got their touches. They were not like terrible. I would like to see Montgomery take a few carries in week 3, but besides that, give all the carries to Pierce, Herbert, and Marable. They really have earned it. I think we have a really deep running back room for once, which is something we haven't really been able to say since like 2018. And then he gets the wide receivers. Goodwin, Robinson, Mooney did not play. Jameer Byrd was solid. Again, he didn't really get any touches, but he had like a 9-yard screen that he made a really good miss on that was called back for holding. Rodney Adams continues to impress me. He wasn't great. I think he fumbled once. He dropped the pass pretty badly. But I think he's much better than Javon Wims is. So I'm not going to sit here and... Wims didn't even play today. Rodney Adams did. So that's really all I can say about that. I think Javon Wims isn't making the team. Riley Ridley was better this week. He made one or two really nice catches, but it's still really not impressive. He gets literally 0 separation 90% of the time. Chris Lacey made a few nice catches. I think he had like 2 for 18. And then outside of that, Daz finally got to see some time. Really excited to see more of Daz Newsome. Hopefully he gets a lot of snaps. for that wide receiver. John Vaya Johnson almost had a really nice catch that was called back off a challenge. He also had one other really good catch for a first down, and besides that, not much. Quickly moving on to the tight ends. Cole Kmet and did not play. Graham caught 2 balls. Jesse James, honestly, if in a perfect world, our 3 tight ends are Cole Kmet, Jesse James, and Scooter Harrington, because I think they have been the best this preseason. But we're going to keep Jimmy Graham because Ryan Pace still has something for him from when they were in New Orleans. Holtz didn't even play. Scooter Harrington, I think, is like our fullback. He played really well when he was in. He's a good blocker. And then Horsted caught a pass or 2. But Jesse James has just been the best tight end in camp so far. Honestly, he could probably be the starting tight end. That's how good that he has played throughout this preseason and everything. That's pretty much it for the offense. If I had to grade it, I'd give it like a C-. It was pretty bad, but it wasn't like I'm going to kill myself bad. What was really bad was the defense. Hicks, couldn't even notice Hicks was playing. Didn't do anything. Mack got freaking demolished by Deion Dawkins. Got freaking hammered by him. That was terrible. Nichols didn't even play. Goldman didn't even play. Trevathan and Roquan didn't even play, which we'll get in. That'll be a big part of the Mitch video that I'm going to do. Robert Quinn allowed the first touchdown because he can't move laterally to save his life. Jalen Johnson was actually probably the best part of our starting secondary. I'm not going to kill on him too much. He did allow 1 touchdown, but that's because the dude was like 3 inches and 100 pounds heavier than him. Like, there's not much he can do on that play. Gibson and Jackson didn't do much, but I will say this about Eddie Jackson. He was an improved tackler in this game than he was last year in most games. So that was good to see from Eddie. I'm glad that he maybe is able to make an open field tackle now. Vildor had a pretty bad game. And then that gets us into some of our backups. Chris Tonga, amazing game. Mario Edwards, great game. Travis Gibson, sack fumble. Christian Jones was pretty bad. So was Ogletree. We're both really bad, honestly. Jeremiah Tashu was pretty bad. Artie Burns was good. Carson and Bush were as good as backup safeties can be in the NFL. They were probably about as good as they were last week. Trufant didn't even play. And then, LaCale London, whatever. Mike Pennell was a really strong run defender. Daniel Archibong was solid on the defensive line. Vaughters had a sack. Josh Woods was pretty unimpressive. He had a foul or 2. Joel Iegbuniwe won't make the team. He's been very bad. Caleb Johnson, the other linebacker, recovered 2 fumbles in this game. He has really good awareness, even though his athletic ability is not like off the charts. Caleb Johnson definitely has a shot at making this team as a 4th or 5th linebacker. Charles Snowden, I think had like 4 or 5 pressures in this game. He was super impressive. And that brings us into our other outside linebacker, Sam Kamara, who was just not really there. Overall, the defensive line in the second half was absolutely... Our defense in general in the second half was really good. I don't think we allowed we didn't allow an offensive touchdown in this second half. So, Thomas Graham nearly had an amazing interception. Couldn't get it through his hands because he was a diving to his opposite shoulder type play. But he made a really good break on the ball. I would actually love to see him get some reps in the starting lineup. Marquis Christian was not good in this game. I crap on Xavier Crawford a lot, but he actually made a really nice play or 2. He wasn't great, but Jordan Lucas didn't even play. And overall, I'd probably give our defense another C-. It was very bad. Who I'm going to give an F to is the special teams, except for Cairo Santos because he didn't play. Punt return was allowed. They averaged like 20 yards per punt return. That includes Miami. They also muffed 2 kicks. Herbert muffed 1 and Daz muffed 1. Donald punted way too far, head for his gunners. We had an extra point blocked. It was terrible. Our special teams have looked so bad. We should have fired the guy we currently have after the double doink. Our special teams guy is terrible at evaluating talent, and the only reason our special teams were good the previous 2 years is because we had hustle guys out there like Cordero Patterson. Now, what do I want to see from this Bears team? F for the special teams. They were terrible. What do I want to see out of this team next week. I want to see Justin Fields take snaps with the starters. I know that probably won't happen, but I hope that he takes snaps with like Damiere Byrd and Damian Williams and some of them. He did a little bit in the game against Miami, but they came out of the game before he did. So I'd like to see him take some snaps with them again. I would like to see no Damian Williams. I want to see who's going to be that running back 3 and 4 behind Damian Williams and David Montgomery, especially when Williams looked so shaky in this game. I'd really like to see either C.J. Marable, Artavis Pierce, or Khalil Herbert, who are all really in the same spot. I think Herbert will make the team based off of the fact he's a rookie and he has special teams value, but it was not good there. And then finally, I want to see the starting defense. If they play, I want to see the starting defense actually look good. They looked serviceable against Miami. Besides the one big Mike Gesicki play, the starting defense looked pretty good. And then this week, they looked absolutely terrible. So I think it's just, you got to have some consistency out of them. But pretty much it. That's my evaluation from this game, position by position, player by player. Overall, I'd give the team a D+. It was a terrible game on all sides. Nagy will probably come out and say that, oh, we were just following the game script, it's a preseason game. But in general, it was just a bad game for the Bears, and you can't really sit there and you can't find many positives. If I was to give like one or two positives, it would be that Fields looked pretty good again. Khalil Herbert looked good. Artie Burns, who I don't really think I touched on all that much, he looked really good. And the backup defense played well against the Bills' backup offense. So it is fair noting that the Bills, minus Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, did have all their starters playing the entire first half. Isaiah McKenzie, Gabriel Davis, Jay Kumro, who's the fourth wide receiver, both Moss and Singletary, the entire starting offensive line. Just Diggs and didn't play, and our starters were only out there for a drive and a half, which we'll get to more in the Mitch video, but that's pretty much it. Thank you guys all for watching. A Mitch Trubisky video is going to come out at some point this weekend. I don't know when that's going to be. It might be today for all I know. But thank you guys all for watching. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you. See you then.